Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the fourth round draw for the 30th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. And for this round, there are only five of you left in it. There were 11 of you in the last round, but now we've whittled you down to just five. Those five are C. Collins 44, D1, D4K10, Foghorn Sam, and if we just scroll all the way to the bottom here, we have Trig and our alliance of Ubermatch and Schwer Industry, Uber Industry. So that's they're the five people left in it. And for this round, we've got UFC 318, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier 3. And I'm just going to start with the elephant in the room here. That is the shittest poster I've ever seen for any event, not just MMA or UFC, for anything. I kind of get what they're trying to do with the top bit, all the names of the fighters they've beaten, but that just looks messy as fuck. It's again, it's for the baddest motherfucker, but half of that's obscured by Poirier's fists. Although to be fair, I'm not sure what kind of people would care about the baddest motherfucker belt being a selling point for this anyway. That's that for two legends of the sport, they deserve a better poster than that. That poster just doesn't have any redeeming qualities whatsoever. That's just I don't know. It's like you gave some failed art student like half an hour to come up with something and they've no idea what MMA is and they just scribble whatever shit's comes to their head on that. I don't have a clue what they're trying to go for with that. But anyway, rant over about the fucking poster. Anyway, who's going to win? Well, they've fought twice already. Dustin Poirier's won two of both of them actually. Just I say two of them, but there's only been two previous fights. But yeah, he's won both of them. Um, this is just to provide context for why for the little rivalry between them. But the truth is, both of those fights are so long ago now. I wouldn't really have thought they have any bearing on the current fight. The first one was in all the way back in 2012. That's 13 years ago now. And Dustin Poirier won that one by a triangle armbar. So that's a rather unusual one for him. And they fought again in 2019. Unanimous decision for him that time. But as that's just to provide the historical context for this. Again, even the 2019 fight, that's 6 years ago now. Um, so anyway, based off their recent form, who's winning this third one? A third fight between them in three different eras, pretty much. Um, I'm gonna say Dustin Poirier makes it 3-0 against Max Holloway. I would probably argue that maybe these are the two best versions of them to fight each other. Maybe not the best versions that ever we've seen of each of them in their careers, but for when they've come head to head, because I feel like they still developed a little bit after their fight in 2019, and I think this is definitely the best version of Poirier that's fought Max Holloway, um, and that has come out on victorious two previous times, and having said that, though, Max Holloway's looked brilliant since well, he always has, but he's not really dropped. He's maybe slowed down a little bit, but he's not dropped off massively at all. Um, he got knocked out by Ilia Topuria in his last fight, but let's be honest, everybody's getting knocked out by him, so that's you can't really hold that against him. Dustin Poirier in his last fight submitted by Islam Makhachev, but again, who wouldn't get submitted by Islam Makhachev? So uh, again, there's no real blemishes on either of their last fights. Obviously, Holloway he's got this advantage on the feet. He's got those knockouts over Gacy, Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen. Poirier, I think, has got the advantage on the ground. I think his grappling is slightly better than um, Holloway's, and to be honest, I think that could be the deciding factor. Really, I think sooner or later, as long as he doesn't, as long as he actually tries other submissions other than the jumping guillotine, then he should be able to trap Holloway in something. Except a guillotine, that's not going to happen. Just give up on that idea, Poirier. But anything but a guillotine. Um, but anyway, I've gone with Poirier for a fourth round submission. Uh, so that's my prediction for that baddest motherfucker main event. Which again, that little toy belt that Masvidal carried around with him everywhere. That's on the line again. I think that was also on the line in. I mean, that was like I don't understand that belt, to be honest, because I mean it was on the line against Gator. Um, in theory, shouldn't Superior be the hold that belt, given he knocked out Holloway? But then there's a similar thing with um Masvidal and Usman, wasn't there? Masvidal was holding the belt when Usman beat him, and then he's somehow still had the belt. I don't understand. It's just a gimmick, nothing more than that. Even less value than an interim title. Which ironically, actually, that last fight between these two was for the interim lightweight title. Um, anyway, that's my prediction for that fight, and obviously that's not what you're here for, though, is it? Let's be honest. You're here to see who you're getting drawn with. This should be one of my quicker videos, as long as I don't get caught up on a tangent, but I will get caught up on tangent. That's what I do. All right, first to face the wheel is C. Collins, 44. Let's see. Who's he going to be rooting for tomorrow night? And he gets Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull there for C. Collins, 44. Obviously, Bellator legend. Uh, he lost his UFC debut last time out against Yair Rodriguez, a decision loss there. Um, up against Danage this time, and he's again that's a very tough matchup because Danage is a very solid gatekeeper at featherweight. He's coming off a knockout win of Sean Woodson, but so it was, again, obviously Pitbull is better than Sean Woodson, but so it's not really. So that's why I'm saying he's not getting knocked out or anything by him. But Patricio Pitbull was definitely waited too long to make this jump. I mean, obviously, it's not really entirely his fault. He was comfortable in Bellator, and then they just fucking imploded. Um, so he's 38 now, new to the UFC, and the UFC aren't exactly helping him by giving him shit matchups. So he's sort of past his best, let's be honest. So, and the UFC are doing him no favors either. They don't seem concerned about trying to build a star out of him, which, to be fair, given he came from a rival promotion and he's 38, so maybe at best he's got 2 years of high level fights, perhaps. But Bellator legend. But I think really, let's be honest, that's going to be his legacy. I don't think. Well, once he does hang up the gloves for good, I don't think we're going to look back on his UFC run um, as really well as really much of it's legend, really. Let's be honest, it's not really going to affect his legacy all that much. Um, I hope when people look at his career, they realise his prime was in Bellator, and he was beating pretty much everyone that Bellator offered to him. But besides one or two, obviously, but a few blemishes here and there, of course. But overall, yeah, this isn't the prime version. If it was, the prime version probably beats Danich quite easily. But it's not. But anyways, I think C Collins 44 is going to need a bit of luck to get through this round. So let's see if D1 D4 K10 is going to have any more luck with the wheel. And unfortunately, not, because he gets Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute there for D1 D4 K10. Um, so he's been a bit of an odd run of fights, hasn't he? Draw, loss, loss. been a while since he's had a win. Um, he's been in those draws. To be fair, were very close fights. And he did look good in them, but he's just uh, when you look beyond that, it's a case of anyone good enough to take him the distance is also probably good enough to beat him. He's up against Marcin Petrino, who I think is good enough to take him the distance. And to be honest, I think he's good enough to win a decision without any controversy. I don't see that. I can't see this one ending in a draw or anything. I think this is going to be a fairly straightforward, unanimous decision win for Marcin Petrino. Um, a little bit inconsistent himself, admittedly, going coming off a loss and then sort of a win before that, then a loss, another win, then a loss. But all in all, it's slightly better than the form that Jimmy Crute's bringing into this. Uh, when Crute has lost recently, he's been finished as well, quite a lot by knockout. But I don't think Marcin Brasino's too much of a knockout threat to him. He could do, but it's not been too much of a threat because recent wins have all been by a decision. Uh, and yeah, that's how I see his fight playing out. To be honest, I think Brasino's gonna take it the distance, gonna win on distance. But to be in any case, I just don't see many realistic ways that Jimmy Crute wins this unless he's completely leveled up behind the scenes. So yeah, D1, D4, K10 is going to need quite a lot of luck to get through to the next round as well. Let's see if anyone will get through to the alleged fifth round at this stage. Foghorn Sam next to learn his fate. Okay, yep, a slightly more reasonable one. Vinicius Oliveira. Vinicius Oliveira. Uh, how the fuck are we spelling that? Oliveira. Right, so gone with one I've actually picked. So I've picked him to win a decision against Kyler Phillips in his bantamweight fight. Uh, Coming to the UFC as a knockout artist, knocking everybody out on the regional scene, and spectacular knockout in the Contender Series, of course. Um, but since then, he's gone the distance quite a lot, which is good to see because it shows he's got the stamina to hang in with the UFC level fighters and get the win. So that's reassuring to some extent. Also thinking that is partly a result, obviously, because of the step up in competition, that you can't just knock him out like he used to back in the regional scene. Um, Kyler Phillips is emerging as quite a little bit of a gatekeeper at bantamweight, despite his relative inexperience. Lost to Rob Font in his last fight, but whoever he fights anyway usually ends up going the distance, um, win or lose. So. And to be fair, he's only been losing against what I presume are reasonably ranked fighters. Anyone that watches these videos knows I pay absolutely no mind to the UFC official rankings, but the guys he's lost to, like Rob Font, they've been uh the guys he's won against, like Marlon Morales. They should be in the rank. Well, fairly fairly high up in the rankings. I'll say around four, five, six-ish places, something like that. Maybe seventh on a bad day. Um, but yeah, kind of Phillips has been fighting that kind of level, and he's been holding his own at that level. Uh, I think Oliveira is good enough, though, to surpass Phillips's current level. And interesting, even though it feels like Oliveira's the newer fighter, he's actually the more experienced by 10 fights, actually. 10 fights more than Kyler Phillips. So that's obviously in his advantage as well. So, yeah, I'm quietly confident in Vinicius Oliveira and in turn, quietly confident in Foghorn Sam's ability to get through to the next round. Depending how the other two go, this Foghorn Sam's in a very good position to potentially win this. Um, all comes down to see who Trig and Uber Industry get drawn with. If the Will is in a bad mood for like he was for the first two, It could be Foghorn Sam's to lose, but we will see. We've still got Trig and Uber Industry to come. Trig is up next. And it's Robert Valentin there for Trig. Uh, yeah, so that's definitely one step closer towards Foghorn Sam winning. Um, because that's a fight I just don't see him having absolutely any chance with this. I don't know what the odds on this fight are, but they must be massive because he's up against Atabe Gortia. I hope I pronounced that right. Probably haven't, but very much very exciting prospects. He's won his UFC debut by a knockout, won his contender series fight by knockout. Looking over his record, he knocked everybody out, or pretty much everybody on the regional scene as well. So he'll be hoping to carry that on into the UFC. What level he's at, we're not quite sure just yet. Only 8 fights into his career, but Robert Valentin, no, we know we've seen enough of him, and he's been uh, it's 10-5 in his career, and two of those have been knockout losses, which is going to suit Gautier down to a T. That's gonna and that's obviously going to be the game plan. Gautier's not going to have to mix up his style at all to in order for this fight against Valentin. This is a bit of classic UFC matchmaking. They've got an exciting prospects on their hand, and they're just playing it safe, and they're just giving him a fight against someone that they know he should be able to knock out relatively comfortably. So I've gone with a first round knockout for Saber Gautier for that one. So yeah, for this game, Trig I think is going to need a hell of a lot of luck. Um, so really, Falcon Sam's the only one with a fighter that I think's got not only if I picks, but actually has any reasonable chance of winning. Maybe Patricio Pitbull is the only other close one, but that's not even too close in my opinion. Unless he rolls back the years. But I think this could all come down to the power of Uber industry and their influence over the wheel. If they get a bad one, Falcon Sam should be a clear favourite to win this. So in any case, it could end up being a 1v1 in the fifth round if the wheel decides to show mercy on the German alliance. But we'll see. We'll have a look, see what the wheel decides to do in regards to Uber industry. They're going to learn their fates. Oh, and well, I think we're definitely going to be getting a fifth round of this, right? A Tabo Gortia. A Tabo Gortia. G-A-U-T-I, think. Well, I say I've just been going on about how much I think Gautier's going to knock out Robert Valentin. Um, and I still think that, and not really much I can add to that other than, like I say, a very exciting knockout artist. And it looks like the UFC is setting him up to knock out Valentin. But the interesting thing for this game, anyway, is that it guarantees a winner between them unless it ends in a draw or a no contest or the fight gets cancelled. But Trig versus Uber Industry, Robert Valentin versus Tabor Gautier. Um, so yeah, unless something absolutely freakish like a draw, no contest, or the fight suddenly gets cancelled happens, we're going to have someone going through, which means that even if Foghorn Sam's favourite in Vinicius Oliveira does lose to Kyler Phillips, we're still going to have a winner of the game at least, which is obviously way better than having the wheel potentially win. So it could be. Um, so yeah, one I'm confident. So yeah, we've got two that I think are going through. One I'm confident on, one I'm certain of. But anyway, right, so let's just go back to our Excel page. We can probably examine it a little bit more in depth, just to run through those once more. C. Collins 44 with Patricio Pitbull. Think he's going to need a bit of luck with that one, but can't see him getting a result against Dan Inge. D1, D4, K10 has just been thrown into the void with by the wheel with Jimmy Crute. Foghorn Sam with Vinicius Oliveira, who I'm quietly confident on to beat Kyler Phillips. Um, Trig with Robert Valentin again joins D1, D4, K10 in the void. Uh, and Uber Industry with Atabia Gautier, who, barring a major upset, should go through. So that concludes the draw for the fourth round of the 30th edition of Lucky Bastard Game. Quite an intriguing one. Um, I think this is going to be a case of this either ends with two people going through, Foghorn Sam and Uber Industry, or potentially just one of you going through, most likely Uber Industry. So I think the two ways this could go is I think scenario A, the most likely, Foghorn Sam and Uber Industry go through to the fifth round, and we'll see how it goes from there. Scenario two, Vinicius Oliveira doesn't quite turn up against Kyler Phillips. It's not impossible for Kyler Phillips to get a win. I think it's less likely for sure, but it's not out of the question like it is with some of the other fights that have been brought up here. And if that happens, I can see Uber Industries certainly getting the win. Or interestingly, even if in that fight there is a massive upset and Robert Valentin does win, then that means Trig would win. But I think it's definitely more likely Uber Industry would in that case. So yeah, our German alliance got the strongest one in that one, in my opinion. And Foghorn Sam's got a reasonable chance. I would be surprised to see the others in the draw for the fifth rounds, if I'm being completely honest. So anyway, we'll see how it all plays out tomorrow night. Anyway, these kind of cards, maybe there'll be an upset or something. Who knows? But I think it's either going to be a two people left in it for a fifth round, or we're going to have a winner and our German alliance winning it. But in any case, we'll just see how it plays out. All it leaves me to say is good luck with your picks on Tapology. Good luck for those in the game, obviously. Some would need it more than others, to be frank. And you got any bets on this card? Good luck with those. Just be lucky in life in general. And until and well, so yeah, we'll be back next week anyway. Whether that's a new game or whether that's a fifth round, we'll see. But until then, so long for now.